if the ceasefire talks fail and war resumes, which we assume it will, do we think that the U.S. might land troops on the islands in the Gulf and possibly the shore like Bandar Abbas to prevent like drone strikes and stuff? That's my main question.
So we don't know, but it is very possible, and the all the military assets coming into the region suggests that all of that is very much on the table. It is very possible that will happen. So the arguments for something like that happening is the type of military assets moving into the region, which seems specifically designed, made for this. The another argument for, like for example, taking Khark Island, that people suspect that was going to happen, is the fact that President Trump bombed 50 different military targets on Khark Island without hitting any of the oil infrastructure. And you would think that you would do that, like that type of an operation is happens when usually when you do that before a ground takeover, right? Some people are like, why do that? Why destroy every single military asset on Khark Island and then just not take over it? Like, a lot of people really think that they're going to take Khark Island because that type of military operation. The arguments against them doing this is that maybe President Trump did that to bring the Islamic Republic to the negotiating table to scare them that they're going to take Khark Island. Another argument against taking Khark Island is that all of this military asset is coming to the region again to scare the Islamic Republic so that they bend the knee. Another argument against invading Khark Island or the other military operations that you mentioned is that the the blockade on the ports in southern Iran might be so effective and so cheap that would make any of these other types of operations unnecessary. Like, why take Kharkov? Like, if I could just spend why even risk my soldiers where all I have to do is basically scare oil tankers to go back to Iranian ports, and then if the Islamic Republic cannot sell their oil like that, why even risk my American soldiers? Why put boots on the ground where all I have to do is pick up my radio and tell every tanker to get back to the Iranian port, and that would be enough for the Islamic Republic not to be able to sell its oil. I think that there's also a third option, which is an in between option that the Americans haven't decided. They're going to see how the Islamic Republic reacts, and it's not yet determined which path they're going to take, and all they're doing is that they're trying to make sure that all options are available to them. So they're bringing the military assets here, and they did the targeted attacks on Khark Island, not necessarily because they're going to have a ground operation on these islands or maybe southern Iran, but because they just want to be able to if they have to. Like, it hasn't been determined yet by the Americans, and they just want to make sure that they have all the leverage and all the options on the table so that when they do have to make the decision, everything is at their disposal. Does that answer your question, Noah?
Mostly. I think they probably have already made a decision. They're just waiting for the ceasefire to end officially because they're trying to resupply. But yeah, that does answer my question. Thank you.
So actually, another point in the favor of what you're saying is that it matches the patterns of what we saw before the 12-Day War and before the beginning of Operation Epic Fury. So, given that those resulted in military action, people are thinking this is the same thing. It matches the pattern, right? So there's that as well.
You're right.
Okay, Blake, respond.
Good question.
So I just want to say, like, this kind of throws back to what I was bringing up before. I'm not saying I was right, but if my theory was correct, then Trump may indeed have already decided what he wants to do and is just trying to figure out how to guide things so that he looks justified in doing it.
Say that again. He's doing what so that he looks justified?
So my idea before was that he's actually trying to make the negotiations fail because he wants to completely topple the regime, but he wants to weaken them from the inside, right? The whole
Right.
chess thing. So he may already know, okay, the next thing I want to do is to take Khark Island or something like this. And he's just waiting for the ceasefire and has trying to plan out a way that he can look justified in taking that step, like waiting for the negotiations.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. That was my fault. You were clear. So yeah, Khark Island is ready to take over, but I need to justify. It looks bad if I don't negotiate with them first. Let's do a negotiation.
He has to see these negotiations fail, and he has to see the ceasefire come to an end, and then he can say, well, look, I gave them every opportunity. I have to step things up, but I don't want to blow up power plants. Oh, I'll take Khark Island. Something like that.
Yep, that makes sense. That could. I mean, again, I don't know if that's the plan, but if these have been the plans, then it's genius, and all the 5D chess people are right. Okay, I don't know, but if it looks the way you describe it sounds like genius. So it might be the case that has all been pre-planned like that. Yeah.
Okay, and Sketch.
I wanted to ask how defensible is Khark Island from our standpoint? Like maybe Jeffrey can comment on this, but you had told me last time, look, going in to get that uranium would be hard. Would it be safer to take Khark Island because they wouldn't want to bomb Khark Island to get rid of whatever military forces we have there? Would that prevent them from hitting it, or are they so 12 or suicidal apocalyptic that they just might hit it anyway?
Well, I mean, they don't have to be 12 or super apocalyptic. They could also think like, well, if we can't have it, neither can you. Like it could be, I mean, yes, they are. Some of them are. That's, Durka jihadi minded. But they also might think that, well, God damn it. Like we don't, like, what's the point of having Khark Island and its infrastructure if we're about to go down, if everything is about to collapse, right? So we might as well bomb them and to try to get them out of there. We might as well get some American soldiers killed, so to increase the political to reduce the political capital of President Trump, because the Iranians know how much American soldiers are, how important their lives are to Americans, right? If they could basically kill some American soldiers, they think that they could hurt President Trump's political capital to continue the military operations. They really want to kill American soldiers, or even better, if they could kidnap one. They know that would really hurt President Trump's ability to continue. So, as much as they might hate to see their oil infrastructure destroyed, if we could get some American soldiers killed, they might want to pay the price for it and shoot some missiles at Khark Island if the Americans are there.
Okay, and then I have two more quick responses from Sherry and afterwards from Blake.
I'm just on what Blake was saying and what you were responding to as far as overthrowing the regime and weakening it. I also think part of the plan is just to, if he can weaken that regime enough where he can allow the Iranian people to be the actual people who take their country back instead of him overthrowing them. Do you think that may be part of the puzzle?
I mean, based on what he just recently posted, yes, very much so. I don't know if you saw what he just recently posted, but the chances of that being part of the puzzle has increased dramatically from a few hours ago. Do you want me to? Did you see it? Do you want me to share it really quickly with you? This is what President Trump posted on Truth Social, highlighting the Iranian people and saying that he's going to support them. Basically, look at this.
Sometimes in history, there's this magic moment. Somebody appears on the scene and everything changes.
I am with you. We've never seen anything like this. I will fight for you.
This was a man who's met his destiny.
And I will win for you.
He said he was saved by God in order to make America great again.
His victory was the greatest comeback of all time.
We're watching history, so buckle up.
So this was the main news today that President Trump posted this, and it basically suggests that something big it might be happening soon, and is highlighting the Iranian people inside Iran asking President Trump to help them. And President Trump posted this, like, this is somebody inside Iran risking his life to say, President Trump, please help. And he started with that, and then he went with all the Iranians everywhere asking for help, and in all of the different cities and all of the different countries here, and he posted that. So he might be planning something big soon. Does that answer your question, Sherry?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I did not see that video. I saw the Trump post. I didn't see that video, but it gives me chills and tears. I just want to see the Iranian people be the actual victors in this.
Thank you. It's hard to communicate how much we all appreciate hearing that from you.
And Blake?
So, real quick, I do think the infrastructure is another thing that everybody needs to keep in mind, because even if American soldiers don't capture an area, if the regime knows they're going down but they're still organized enough, they may go scorched earth on their own people. And we have to worry about that. Like, they could just blow up all of the oil wells because they're like, if we can't have them, nobody can. If they fall apart from the inside, then they have a much lower possibility of doing that.
Yeah, that is actually true, and some people might underestimate that, but until you remember they promised to do that. Many of them have promised that. They said that, you think that if you bring us down, we'll let you have Iran? They said, this is the exact words they said. Zamin sukhte tahviletun midin. Means that if we're going down, what we will leave for you will be scorched earth. They promised us that.
All right, so I will move on to the anonymous question. Anonymous asks, how do they get rid of these Islamists from Pakistan and the other two countries known as the Toyota Crew?
In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iraq? Like,
I'm guessing so.
What's the... So explain the question. How will we get rid of all of the Durka jihadi minded people from these countries? How do we get rid of them?
That's how I read it.
Like, how do we get rid of them from Iran? Like, kick them out of Iran, these mercenary groups out of Iran? Or how do we get rid of them completely from planet Earth?
Yeah, I'm not sure more specifically. The person
So
says both.
let's answer both. Okay, so the Shia militia terrorist groups from outside of Iran being imported into Iran, how do we get rid of them out from Iran? That's actually not as difficult as a lot of people think. If you stop paying them, they will leave. They are there not to defend Shia Islam. They're there to get paid. Okay, so if the income gets cut, they will go back home. Okay, so that is, I think, pretty straightforward. How do we get rid of them from planet Earth? We bomb them. And then after that we bomb them some more, and then we keep bombing them, and then that's how you do it. Okay, because this is not what I say when it comes to general Muslims. When it comes to Muslims, you need to talk to them, you need to argue with them, you need to have a door open to them, you have to make them feel like they belong in society, and you need to be friendly with them. But when it comes with to these motherfuckers, you just kill them. Okay, these people, wherever you find them, you just make sure that you just eradicate them in a way that as if they never existed. That's how you deal with these people. And again, I want to remind everybody here that I'm a huge advocate for this being the mission of a new and free Iran. We need to copy Israel, and once Iran is free, we need to go and hunt these people down wherever they are. We need to work with the Israelis and the Americans, and liberating Iran is not enough. These people came into our country and they killed us in the tens of thousands, and we're not going to rest until we find them wherever they're hiding, and we're not going to stop until we kill every single